File names. Probably not the most glamorous of topics, but when it comes to workflow and file management, it's a pretty important one. I think it's one that we need to talk about. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a custom file name preset so you can apply that when you import your images into Lightroom. So the file name that your camera gives the file when it takes the photo and saves to the memory card is usually pretty limited. It's generally composed of a prefix, which is something like 3 letters, an underscore, and then a 4-digit number. Most cameras, when you go into the settings and try and change this, it's not very flexible. You can't add anything about the date and you can't add your full name or business name. So that's where Lightroom comes in. So whenever you import your images through Lightroom, which you should be doing straight from your memory card because it saves a bunch of steps, you actually have the option to create a custom preset for the file name, and that will apply that preset to every image that gets copied onto your hard drive and added into the Lightroom catalog. Now, when you think about the information that you want in your file name, it helps to consider what's going to help you stay organized. So for me, the file name needs to include my name. It needs to include the date written backwards so it orders correctly. And it's also helpful to have that original 4-digit number that comes with the original file. The order that I like to put this in is the 4-digit number so that it then orders the images correctly by file name. And that is, for me, followed by the date backwards because it's really handy to have that date in the file name. And then that is followed by my name or your business name if you prefer. Now, why would you want to put all this in the file name? It just really helps to identify that file as belonging to you. Say you're sending images off for print, or say that you're supplying them to the client as high-res files for printing or for web or social media use. Having this identifying information in the file name is really helpful. It also helps to have that information in the metadata, but that's going to be the subject of a separate editing toolbox video. So the beauty of what we're able to do here in Lightroom on import is to set up a template so that it will apply all of this information to the file name as the image is being imported. So let's have a look at how this works. I've got my memory card inserted into my computer's memory card reader, and I'm going to go in Lightroom up to File, Import Photos and Video. So I did actually start off with an empty memory card, and these are just a few photos that I've taken of my dogs in my studio this morning, just for illustration purposes. So once you choose the memory card as the source of where you want to copy the images from, you have a few different options over on the right here. We're not going to go through all of these today. This is going to be a quick one about file renaming only. So let's open up this file renaming. Now, I already have a template set up for file names. It's called Charlotte, but generally if you haven't done anything in this panel before, this rename files option will be unticked. So the first thing I want you to do is tick that. So I'm going to go into edit here because we're going to create something custom from scratch. Now, at the moment, it's got my Charlotte preset. I'm going to just go and start off with something that you will probably have. So let's start off with just the file name. Now the file name will be whatever your camera has named that file when it saved it to the memory card. We actually want to just delete that because we're actually going to start from scratch here. So the first thing that I want to add into the file name is that original 4-digit code. Now, if we go into here, we can see file name number suffix. That's what that 3 or 4-digit number is called. So I'm going to select that, and that's inserted that into the file name. Now, so it doesn't all just run together and make it hard to read, I'm going to then put a hyphen before I add the next piece of information. Now the next piece of information is going to be the date. And when I write the date, I like to write it backwards. So year, month, day. That way it orders correctly and it's fairly easy to read. So down here under additional, you can see all the different date placeholders that we can add in here. Now we can add the date elements individually, which means that we could put, say, a hyphen or an underscore in between them, or we can just add the date all in one hit. So if we wanted to add year, month, day, we would select this one and then another hyphen to act as a divider. Now we don't have a little preset here for adding our name, but the beauty of this is you can just type in your name. So I'm just going to type in Charlotte Reeves. Now, as you'll see in example here, it's actually showing us what that will look like. Now, you can adjust that to whatever makes sense to you. You might choose to do underscores instead of hyphens. Instead of putting the date like that, you might choose to do year hyphen month hyphen and then day. And it will turn out like this instead of what I had before. Honestly, whatever works for you, whatever information that you want to put in there. So you can also add extra details. All of these options here you can put in there, and that will take that information from the EXIF data of the image and put that into the file name for you. So it really depends on what's important to you to have in a file name. So I'm actually just going to leave mine like that. Now you need to save this preset before you go anywhere. So as you can see at the moment, it's saying file name edited. We need to save that. So let's go save current settings as new preset. And I'm going to call this one Charlotte 2 because I already had a Charlotte. So I'm going to go create and then done. And so now when you want to use that preset, every time you import your photos, and it will stay on the last one you use, so you don't need to select this fresh every time. You just need to select from the drop down list here. And there we go. So I'm just going to check the destination here to make sure it's going to import these images to the correct location. Yep, okay. And then I'm going to go import. And now when these images are imported, they're going to be automatically renamed. And that means the actual file name will change. So the file that is stored on your hard drive is going to change to that name using the template that you've selected. So here we go. These are all the images I've just imported. Again, don't judge me. They're just my dogs in my office. And you can see on the file names here, they have all been renamed accordingly. So that 4-digit code, the date, and then my name. Now, once these files have been named in that way, I don't rename them. A lot of people, when they export files for a particular reason, they'll go and rename them. They might like to start from 0 with a new sequence. I stay clear of that because I like my images to always have the same name. That way, if I find a random JPEG file, I can always look at the file name, search that on my computer, and then go back to the original RAW file or the original fully edited PSD to find the original easily. If you are constantly renaming your files, it can make it difficult to find files if they do get a little bit orphaned. So that's it basically. Hopefully that's been helpful for you, and I hope you're able to go off and set up that custom file name preset and be a lot more organized. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I'll catch you for the next editing toolbox soon.